Fadi.
Thank you, Sabrina. If I may ask just
Sure.
three questions, two related and one separate.
Okay.
On Iran, as a spokesperson for the Pentagon, you can't tell the American people whether the U.S. will take or support offensive action against sovereign nation that did not attack U.S. forces or U.S. interests in the region, which is Iran. Don't you need an authorization from Congress to be part of that?
So what I can tell you, Fadi, is what we've said from the very beginning is that we don't seek a wider regional war, and we definitely don't seek conflict with any country or group. That includes Iran. When it comes to an Israeli response, we're talking to them about their response. Of course, as you know, we have U.S. forces in the region. The Secretary's priority from day one has always been to protect our people and taking care of our people. A response or any type of, whether it's trades on the border, in the northern border, between Israel and Lebanon, or attacks on U.S. forces from Iran-backed militias, that has consequences on U.S. forces. And so when I tell you that we're in consultations and discussions with the Israelis on their response, that's what I mean.
Okay, and then on the Iranian response to the assassination of Haniya in Tehran, which is shooting 200 missiles. According to Israeli media, these missiles were targeting military infrastructure, and they hit 3 air bases, not civilian infrastructure. So is your assessment that the Iranians were after civilian infrastructure in Israel? And what precisely are you talking? Which civilian infrastructure are you talking about?
I said innocent civilians.
Yeah,
and I just said infrastructure. I'd say broadly speaking, our assessment is that some of the ballistic missiles were targeting military infrastructure, but for a greater assessment, I'd refer you to the Israelis to speak to that. Ultimately, the intent and target of that missile, Iran would have to speak to, because they're the ones putting in the coordinates. We can only judge the trajectory and where they landed or where they were shot out of the sky.
Thank you for responses. You answered the question about your support for the so-called limited operation in southern Lebanon, which is to protect the Israeli, civilians on that border. And well, we know Hezbollah in their arsenal have missiles that can be launched from tens of kilometers away from the border. So how does that operation make any sense if the intended or effect or impact or goal is to prevent Hezbollah from launching those attacks?
Along that border and some of that infrastructure are C2 nodes and storage facilities that the Israelis military, and understandably feels the need to eliminate in order to get their population back into the north. And this is not just for the protection of Israeli citizens. These are also, Lebanese citizens that live on the other side of the border to allow for, them to live in safety free from Hezbollah as well.
So the Israelis are trying to protect Lebanese civilians.
I think they are certainly trying. I'm not going to characterize, all of their operations, but they've been pretty clear that they want to see their people move back into the northern communities, and they are conducting limited operations along that borderline.